G'day aspiring engineers. This video is a behind the scenes topic. A bit of an introduction to fill you in on the reasons why I talk about some of the things that I do. 7 years ago I began to make videos about Fusion 360. And you can see by that name, the name of the YouTube channel, that I had more in mind than just 3D CAD. The name says something about engineering in general, but as I got going and a certain global pandemic drove millions of people online to keep occupied, I was running to keep up with comments and questions and viewers who were interested in learning Fusion 360 in those days. So I niched down. You know what they say? Do more of what works. And so I did, until not long ago I began to realize that software tutorials are about to become digital dinosaurs. I could see that when I realized I was learning faster by asking some AI how to do things in Fusion. It's not the best way every time, but things are changing, and I don't want to be a dodo. For anybody that hasn't heard, a dodo is an extinct bird. Now, I didn't just teach CAD at the uni, but I did enjoy it. But my favourite subject by far was materials science, which I was able to pick up because of my experience in the ceramic industry. I had a lab with furnaces, tensile testing equipment, hardness testing equipment, impact testing equipment, plus a really nice microscope and sample preparation gear to go along with that microscope. I spent many happy evenings in there and many spare hours researching glass, glazes and powder metallurgy, and I was able to take my students along for that ride in many cases. Now, there was another subject that really surprised me: quality management systems. Now, I would never have taken an interest in that, but I did become obsessed with it for a time, and here's how that happened. So before I was a teacher, I was a middle manager in the ceramic industry. My factory, or at least the one that I was responsible for, was always a dirty, dark and damp place. Always really dusty. And when the kilns are firing in summer, it's always hotter inside than outside. Okay, enough of that. Years later, I was working in a specialist centre at a university, and at that centre it was dedicated to the latest software and machine tools. But the centre got sidetracked totally when it became apparent that whereas upgrading your software and your machine tool could give you a 10-20% boost every time you improved your equipment or software, a business process innovation can give your bottom line a huge boost, something like 60 or 70% or more. One of the project managers there took me to one of the factories where they were running on-site training, and I saw the most amazing things. Ordinary factory workers were fastidious about keeping their work area clean and spotlessly tidy, scrupulously. Everything was hanging on its own hook. All the benches were clean and clear all the time while they were working. Anyone who parked a trolley or a stillage would line it up, straighten it, and it was the same at every workstation all through that factory. I said to that tour guide, "What drugs are these people taking?" Couldn't believe it. He said, "Yes, impressive, isn't it? But wait till you see what all this is doing to the figures." And I told him if I hadn't seen this with my own eyes, I would never have believed it. And I told him about my struggles in the past. So just to give you another example of those figures that he was talking about, I met with a CEO of a ceramic industry company who showed me around his factory. Half of that warehouse attached to that factory was taken up with rows and rows of empty pallet racking. And I said, "Oh dear, things must be tough." But no, he explained that they had recently completed a project where they had streamlined tooling changeovers on their main production equipment and some other changes in order to reduce their order turnaround from 5 weeks to 3 days. They spent a lot on engineering, but the gains were enormous. Holding 5 weeks of stock, as you can imagine, in order to fill orders, that's a lot of stock in a warehouse. They were able to sell down all of that inventory, which alone amounted to millions of dollars, and that was a huge shot in the arm, a shot of liquidity for the business. And then there were multiple benefits after that. Customers would choose them because of the assurance of their distributors that customers would get their product before the next weekend. That's a big competitive advantage. Now that bumped their business up. And now they have a lot of extra floor space for expanding. Needless to say, I was interested and I learned all that I could about that particular quality management system, and I took every opportunity that I could to teach it. And you can expect to hear more about that from me in the future. Now, I'm not saying this to denigrate those technological innovations that specialist centre was set up to look after. You do need both, but these business process innovations are just as important when you have global competition. Now, in an earlier video, I did mention that I've had a business failure. That was quite some time ago now. And ever since that time, I've been looking to get back into business. But I've been much more careful about evaluating opportunities. In the meantime, I've kept busy learning things that I wished that I knew back then. And no doubt some of you have heard that cynical maxim, those who can do, those who can't teach. And those who can't teach, teach teachers. And now that's always been at the back of my mind. I've been thinking about that, but I keep on teaching, and while I'm taking my time to get back into business, always remember that there's no better way to learn something than to actually teach it. So whenever I hear about business incubators or business accelerators, I pay attention, and I've been doing so for quite a while. Now, this is something that does mean a lot to me, and after reading and assessing a number of systems and educational offerings, I've settled on one of them. I really like Ash Maurya's approach, and his YouTube channel is called Lean Foundry. And I'll put a link in the description down below, and I plan to have a lot more to say about that. There were a lot of great things that I learned while I was teaching, and there were times when I was able to take my students on that wonderful journey that I was on, when I was able to research topics and do extra things outside the curriculum. But there were also things that I couldn't do. When I wanted to learn 3D CAD, I had to shop around all over the city for an institution where they offered 3D, even though it was common in industry at the time. Another one of those frustrations was when I tried to bring in a new line of teaching. No doubt you've noticed how every CAD program has simulation built into it, and they have done for 20 years at least. Other names for that simulation are FEA, finite element analysis, and CFD, computational fluid dynamics. It used to be a specialised skill only for analysts who have at least a master's degree. I learned myself under an analyst with a master's in mathematics, but as I say, every CAD package has it built in, including Fusion, or at least when you pay for the full commercial version of Fusion. Now let me tell you a secret. In every engineering and manufacturing company, the CAD jockey doesn't need a bachelor's degree. He's the one with a technician level education, and those guys with the degrees, they get the CAD jockey to do the work. That includes most of the simulations. The guys with the degrees are the ones who check the jockey's work, but they've got plenty of other responsibilities. Setting up the routine simulations is now a low-level task, and that's why it's built into every CAD program. And try setting up a new course in a university. Universities aren't quite government departments, but their funding is all government funding. And their administrative processes do have a few things in common with government departments. A university is like a big ship. A pilot turns the steering wheel, but it takes a long time for a big ship to just begin to turn. I designed CAD simulation training courses, but I had to give up in the end. Friends of mine who knew the system better than I did tried to help, but they also got nowhere. And when I attended meetings between professors and CAD software vendors who were trying to incorporate CAE into research programs and teaching, it was to no avail. They do quite a lot of good teacher training in Australian universities, and I've always remembered a piece of advice that I got from one of the best trainers. She said things are always smoother for you when you share the values of the organisation you work for. That helped me in my decision to get out of higher education, out of that system altogether, and to go solo on YouTube. As you can guess, I have quite a few opinions about education. So there's a few things about me and what goes on upstairs while you watch me doing my thing. Thanks for your attention. I'll see you next time.